First thing is the Padres like to really swing on first pitches. They have 8 players that swing at least 30% of the time. They have 3 players that are above 40% of the time swinging on the first pitch. So Wade Miley is a guy that likes to paint the corners. He's a control guy, kind of a throwback old school that way. He's going to have to paint the corners and have control.
Looking at Dylan Cease specifically, he's got a 2.16 ERA to start the season. He has given up 2+ runs in each of his first 3 starts, but the third game, which was his last appearance, 2 of those runs were unearned. Through this season, he has a .84 whip, which is very low. He is primarily a fastball slider pitcher. So he uses his fastball 46% of the time and a slider 40% of the time. He does have a knuckle curve that he uses about 10% of the time. Blake Perkins is batting .367, has a .441 on-base percentage, has a .567 slug for a 1,008 OPS. He is giving the Brewers the luxury of being able to be overly cautious with Christian Yelich because of how well he is playing. So far this season, he has 2 home runs and 34 plate appearances. In 2023, he had 4 home runs and 168 plate appearances. So he's on pace to demolish his home run total from 2023. And overall, a lot of his stats are pretty similar. But the biggest change in his approach from 2023 to 2024 so far is his first swing pitch percentage is up 11.7%.
Ooh.
So Blake Perkins, if he's liking the first pitch that he sees, he's swinging at it. And it's paying dividends for him so far early in 2024. And like I said, his play is giving the Brewers the luxury of being able to be overly cautious with Christian Yelich. Looking at William Contreras with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, William Contreras' batting average is .571. But the Brewers themselves have also been very productive with 2 outs. Looking over their last 8 games when the offense has really exploded, they have scored 22 runs with 2 outs in the last 8 games alone.
Wow.
So they're averaging almost 3 runs a game with 2 outs. Thank you for the kind comments on the watch party. I want to look at a few things. One of them obviously being William Contreras extending his hit streak to 12. The approach that he took to the pitch that he hit, that he extended his hitting streak on, absolutely going to be something that comes up on tomorrow's show when we talk about this game specifically. So jumping back into the Brewers, the other guy that needs to be brought up is Sal Frelick. Sal Frelick is on a tear right now. He had 5 plate appearances. He was on base 4 times today.
Yeah, he was a menace today. Played some third base. I don't know if you knew that, Tyler, but he played some third base today. We just needed a Contreras big-time hit or Adames big-time hit, and I think that would have opened the floodgates a little bit for the Brewers. But, we didn't get it, and that's okay. It happens. The Brewers, this is just one of 62 where it just didn't all come together. Some light contact one way, some hard-hit balls right at defenders the other way, and that's how it goes, man.
I want to pull up Sal Frelick because I want to see what his numbers have gone from to where they are now. So I wanted to pull him up specifically if I can. After the series with the Mets, Sal Frelick was batting .077 after 3 games. And people were like, send him down to AAA, send him down to AAA. On April 6th, 4 days later, 3 games later, his batting average was up to 174. So it went up 97 points. Obviously, small sample size, he's getting there. Another 3 days later, his batting average was up to 324. And even after yesterday's game, this is before today's game, which he played extremely well, he was at 298. So this is one of those things where, again, we talk about the roller coaster. You got to ride it. Ups and downs. It's going to happen. We have to zoom out with baseball. And I know I said this probably 1,000 times last year with Brewers baseball season. With baseball, you have to zoom out. You have to. Because, yes, like game to game, there's going to be ups and downs, but when you zoom it out, it looks like a much smoother ride. And that's the ride you have to ride, especially with baseball. Like, I get that there's going to be winning streaks, losing streaks. The Brewers are on a 3-game losing streak right now. However, when you look at the course of a 162-game season, a 3-game losing streak is going to look like a much smaller bump than the gigantic pothole that some people are going to make it seem like, because in the moment it sucks. But the thing is that when you are in the losing streak, you don't have to let it control you, and it also doesn't mean that you're never going to go on a winning streak. And here's perfect example of a way that with our show being different and trying to do it from a more positive and optimistic point of view, that's that whole sentence analogy that I just threw out there. You could apply that to life. You could be going through a losing streak in life, and yeah, it might suck, but that doesn't mean that you're never going to go on a winning streak.
Got to keep grinding.
Sports fandom and life parallel right there. So there's definitely applications for being sports fans that you can use to life, that you can use to, kind of put things in perspective.
Yes, sir.